Just before I was due to fly out for an international racing competition, I saw a pixelated video in our residential complex's online chat group. It featured my fiancée, Seraphina Vance, and a younger man she called her Junior. Despite the blurring, I recognized the distinctive mole on Seraphina's collarbone and the heart-shaped birthmark on her thigh. Seraphina, the woman who had solemnly promised me her first time would be after we officially registered our marriage. There she was, in the video, tackling Ethan Hayes in the community garden's flower beds. I immediately changed my flight and rushed home to confront her. Instead, I found her on the expensive sofa I'd bought, the one that cost tens of thousands, reenacting the very scene from the video with Ethan Hayes. I turned and walked away without a word. Later, much later, when I was on an international racetrack bringing glory to my country, she appeared, dressed in the bespoke wedding gown I had designed for her. She proposed to me in front of the world. My arm was linked with my wife's. I simply said, "Thank you for helping me filter out the unsuitable ones. I already have the best love a man could ask for." The moment I stepped into our apartment, a pair of limited edition sneakers, clearly worn, caught my eye in the entryway. Just a couple of days ago, I'd accidentally seen the receipt for them and had naively assumed she was planning to give them to me as a wedding gift. Ethan. My gaze shifted. There was Seraphina, the woman who so vehemently championed premarital chastity, now dressed in a flimsy camisole, nestled comfortably in Ethan Hayes' lap, his hands roaming freely over her waist. And me? We'd lived together for 3 years, yet I was never allowed to hold her, never permitted to kiss her. Ethan was adopting a posture of reluctant regret. "Seraphina, I shouldn't have fallen in love with you. Last night, I was drunk when I recklessly proposed. No, Seraphina, I don't love you. We should break up." She pressed his hand more firmly against the small of her back. "Ethan, don't be ridiculous. You love me, and I love you. I want us to be together." "No, Seraphina, you should forget about me. Marry Liam, he's a good man." Ethan feigned insistence, but I didn't miss the smirk playing on his lips. Seraphina's voice rose with agitation. "Liam Cole? What is he? He should be burning incense and thanking the heavens for the chance to marry me. Ethan, marrying him is just a game, a means to an end. My heart, my body, they belong only to you." With that, she turned and kissed Ethan Hayes passionately. Their breaths began to mingle, quickening, becoming ragged. I fought back the overwhelming urge to rush over and beat Ethan to a pulp. Instead, I took out my phone and started recording. When the kiss finally ended, Ethan's hands caressed Seraphina's waist with renewed fervor. His body was honest, even if his words dripped with feigned guilt. "Seraphina, Liam is competing for national glory this time. If his performance is affected because of us, my sin would be unforgivable." Seraphina straddled his lap, her arms wrapping around his neck, her eyes gazing at him with unadulterated adoration. "Ethan, don't let Liam fool you. He only wins those domestic races by cheating. This time, he's on a bigger international stage. He'll have to rely on actual skill, and he's bound to make a fool of himself. He's terrible. He's destined to lose. It has nothing to do with you." Ethan feigned shock. "Liam is so talented. Surely he wouldn't cheat?" She stated with absolute conviction, "Liam Cole is a cheat. I saw it with my own eyes. He bribed his opponents with gold bars before a race." Ethan gasped dramatically. "Oh, heavens." Seraphina then delivered her heartfelt confession. "Ethan, in my heart, you surpass Liam 1,000, 1,000,000 times over." With that, she bit his lip. To appease Ethan Hayes, Seraphina had actually fabricated stories of me cheating in races. 10 years ago, I'd skipped school to watch a race. My father, furious, had banished me to a high school in the countryside. On the first day of school, Seraphina had approached me, actively stuffing a white rabbit, creamy candy into my hand. It was love at first sight for me. For her, I diligently finished high school. When the college entrance exam results came out, she secured a place at a prestigious university, while I barely scraped into a vocational college. She encouraged me to pursue my dream of racing. I told her I wanted to study racing abroad, to learn from the best and bring that expertise back. She supported me wholeheartedly. Coincidentally, my father was also pressuring me to study overseas, so I took a substantial sum of money and boarded a flight to country A. During those 3 years abroad, despite the time difference, she wished me good morning and good night every single day. When I felt low, she would encourage me to persevere. After returning home, whenever I wasn't racing, I was with her. My life felt full and happy. But she wasn't happy. She couldn't adapt to the cutthroat office politics of a large corporation and developed breast nodules from the stress caused by her superiors. I gave her $1,000,000 yuan and encouraged her to start her own company. In the initial stages of her entrepreneurship, I was her right hand man, helping her with everything, and successfully secured her first major project. I represented the unspoken, powerful resources of the Cole family. My involvement almost guaranteed no deal would fall through. Seraphina, unaware of my true background, simply believed I was exceptionally capable. Later, as she expanded her business, she grew even more accustomed to using me. A year ago, she started urging me to give up racing and focus solely on helping her build her company into an empire. I refused. Perhaps this disagreement solidified her decision to bind me, to punish me, with this farcical marriage. I had loved her for a full decade. I always believed she held at least a sliver of affection for me. This time, listening to the entirety of her lovey-dovey exchange with Ethan Hayes, I finally understood. Before I gave her that million, her overtures of affection were likely extended to every one of her suitors. After I demonstrated my immense value, she proposed we live together, not out of love, but to ensure I continued to slave away for her. And because she truly didn't love me, she concocted the excuse of saving herself for our wedding night, always maintaining a careful distance. Ethan, I love you. Listening to Seraphina's heartfelt confession to another man, my initial grief and fury slowly solidified into icy calm. She deserved my most ruthless revenge. My face impassive, I saved the recording. Without alerting them, I quietly turned and left. My father disapproved of my relationship with Seraphina and forbade me from telling her about our family's true circumstances. I, more than anyone, hoped she could become strong enough, successful enough, to silence my father's objections. In truth, I had felt guilty for a year about refusing her request to quit racing. This upcoming competition had global attention. I had planned to display her company's logo on my race car and mention her in my victory speech, hoping my win would boost her business. And what did she do? We were about to get married, yet she was playing true love with Ethan Hayes in the public community garden, no less. Afterward, completely unconcerned about being seen, she brought him back to our home for more affectionate moments. And even worse, for the past 10 years, she had never loved me. I was unwilling, yet forced, to admit my father's judgment of people was, astoundingly, more accurate than mine. Before boarding the plane that evening, Seraphina finally remembered to call me. I simply switched my phone to airplane mode. More than 10 hours later, I arrived in Country A and turned off airplane mode. 99+ missed call notifications popped up, all from Seraphina. In the past, when I was unreachable during competitions, Seraphina would also call and message me incessantly. I used to think she cared, and though it sometimes felt suffocating, I cherished it. Now I understood. She just disliked me being out of her control. I was about to delete the call log when her call came through again. I answered it accidentally. Liam, why haven't you been answering my calls? Are you really out of the country for a competition, or are you meeting some mistress? I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Her torrid affair with Ethan Hayes was already common gossip in our community chat group, yet she had the audacity to question if I was having an affair. Competition, I said coldly. Seraphina became even more incensed. Liam Cole, what kind of attitude is that? We're about to get married, and instead of properly preparing for the wedding, you insist on going abroad to race, claiming you want to win glory for the country. Fine, I supported you. But now what? You've grown wings just by going abroad. I asked, Seraphina, is the sofa I bought comfortable? Have you cleaned it yet? She laughed. Liam, are you seriously throwing a tantrum because of Ethan and me? Can't you ever get over your petty jealousy? I'm looking after Ethan. Because he's my junior. We haven't crossed any lines. We were just discussing business at home. Actually, I was about to tell you, Ethan said that even if you only make it through one round in this competition, the exposure will be significant. So, put my company logo on your car, help me get some advertising. I won't look down on you for getting eliminated in the first round, so don't you dare complain about me giving you an extra task. A sudden, chilling thought struck me. My earlier hope that she might express even a shred of remorse was utterly, laughably foolish. Well, yes or no? Seraphina was still pressing me, her voice impatient. I disagree, I said, my voice flat. Seraphina exploded. Liam Cole, who do you think gave you the guts? If you keep throwing these unreasonable tantrums, I'll divorce you. Then let's get a divorce. She was stunned. What? Then, her voice escalated into a furious shriek. Liam Cole, do you fucking think you can bear to? Are you out of your mind? I've told you countless times, I'm just Ethan Sr. You're so busy with your racing that you neglect all social networking, and now you forbid me from cultivating my own connections? You're too selfish, too narrow-minded, too despicable. I know what you're doing. You're playing these games because you want me to care about you more. You don't need to go to such lengths. Just put my company logo on your car, and all will be forgiven. I hung up the phone directly and blocked her and her mother, giving no one the chance to harass me further. In the practice race, my performance was abysmal. I finished last. After recalibrating my mood, I returned to the hotel, only to find Seraphina standing outside my room. A cold smile touched my lips. It seemed that even if Seraphina didn't know I had the entire Cole family backing me, she knew her company would only go downhill without me. So, when she realized I was serious about the divorce, she came chasing after me. Liam, you're back? Upon seeing me, she reached out to hug me. I sidestepped her. State your business. She smiled sweetly. Liam, I just missed you. By the way, for the wedding favors, I was thinking of changing them to that brand of chocolate you love so much, okay? Her manipulation tactics were still top-notch. No apology, just attempts to please me. For the past 10 years, this was how she had controlled me. But now I was awake. Are you finished? I asked coolly. Shilung-ju froze/was stunned. Liam, you. I walked around her. I'm exhausted from the race. I need to sleep. Fine, you sleep. Her voice held a trace of panic. She probably realized the depth of my resolve. Right now, I needed to focus on preparing for the race. I didn't have the energy to deal with her. After freshening up, I received a text message from Seraphina, sent from a new number. Liam, do you really not love me anymore? I replied instantly. Yes. Message sent successfully. I blocked her new number and went straight to sleep. But an incident on the day of the official race made me regret, with an intensity that bordered on physical pain, not forcing her to return to our country. Seraphina had lied to the event staff, claiming she was my wife. Not only did they allow her into the racetrack, but they also led her to my private lounge. Liam, are you really not going to consider promoting my company? No, I said coldly. Please leave. Don't interfere with my race. She persisted. Then would you be willing to introduce Ethan to Marcus King, the champion of the practice race? Ethan Hayes again. No, I said angrily. Get the hell out. Her smile was knowing, almost sinister. Liam, you'll regret this. I won't. I raised my hand, pointed towards the door, and roared, get out. Before the race started, as I was settling into my car, I noticed something was wrong. I immediately got out. Almost simultaneously, Seraphina appeared before me, her expression triumphant. She must have been following me, spying on me. I roared, you sabotaged my car. She crossed her arms. Didn't I tell you? You'd regret it. As long as you agree to my demands, I'll return the parts. Just then, the racer from Country A, who had finished second to last in practice, sauntered over to add to the spectacle. Hey, last place. Playing this trick to avoid the race, are we? Listening to the endless stream of taunts, I yelled at Seraphina. The race is about to start, and you still won't tell me where the parts are. Do you think my participation in this race only concerns my personal honor? She remained unmoved. Liam, I've changed my mind. Not only do you have to satisfy my demands, but you also have to kneel. Time ticked by. The racer from Country A, having had his fill of the drama, left to prepare for his own race. Then, I received a message, and a sense of calm washed over me. I asked Seraphina, in your heart, national honor, me, none of it is as important as Ethan Hayes. And you still dare to claim you're just his senior. Her arrogance was breathtaking. You speak with such righteousness, so why can't you, for your so-called national honor, kneel and submit? Aren't you also placing your personal dignity above national honor? Hearing her sophistry, I understood she operated under her own twisted logic. Thinking back, over the past 3 years, Seraphina had frequently used feigned injuries, tears, and other manipulative tactics to make me postpone my races and help her negotiate business deals. Her words, then and now, were always designed to shut down my thinking, my questions, demanding only my obedience. I gave up any hope of finding a shred of humanity left in her. What? You agree to kneel? She pressed, her voice dripping with contempt. I sneered. Seraphina, your wishful thinking has come to nothing. Impossible, she shrieked. What connections could you possibly have abroad? You've given me all your money over the years. What resources do you have left to handle this crisis? So, she knew I had given her everything I could, yet she still hurt me without a shred of compunction. My decade-long, one-sided love affair was, ultimately, a joke. I walked away without a backward glance. Marcus King had suffered a relapse of an old injury and had to withdraw from the race at the last minute. He willingly lent me his car. In truth, even without Marcus's unexpected withdrawal, my team could have sourced similar parts within minutes of the race starting. I would still race, at the very least to ensure that idiot from country A finished last. But now, with a better option available, I certainly wasn't going to suffer needlessly. Before I got into Marcus's car, he said, "Liam, you have to win this." I replied, "Marcus, don't worry. I've tested your car before. I can do this." The race began. I didn't think about Seraphina, the pig-headed racer from Country A, or his fans waiting to see me fail. I focused solely on the race. Benefiting from Marcus King's modified car, I performed exceptionally well and secured first place. When the award presenter announced my nationality, I felt an immense surge of pride. And Seraphina? She slunk away, her face ashen. She was probably terrified I'd report her to the police and she'd end up imprisoned in Country A. Knowing she was at my mercy, Seraphina didn't stay quiet for long after returning to our country. Unable to bear the silence, she initiated a video call. I answered. Tears welled in her eyes as she asked, her voice trembling pitifully, "Liam, do you really not want me anymore?" I remained unmoved. "Yes." She suddenly stood up, her voice rising in a tearful accusation. "Liam, are you trying to drive me to my death? Don't you know, because you unilaterally canceled the wedding venue. My mother went to inquire about the wedding details yesterday and was thrown out by the hotel manager. My mother called and screamed at me for not cherishing you. Last night, she slit her wrists. She's in the ICU right now, her life hanging in the balance. Are you still going to insist on canceling our wedding?" I, however, was calm. "Seraphina, you're using your mother's supposed suicide attempt to manipulate me now. What will you do in the future?" Panic flickered in her eyes. "Liam, what else are you going to do?" My expression was unreadable. "Seraphina, I should be asking you what you intend to do. A month before the wedding, you were all over Ethan Hayes in the community garden. Did you know other residents filmed it and posted it in the group chat? I came back to find you, and what did I see? You and Ethan Hayes, endlessly entangled on the sofa. You even followed me abroad and stole parts from my race car. Did you ever once care about me? Seraphina, listen carefully. I don't love you anymore. And moreover, I will make your life a living hell." Initially, she tried to interrupt, but I spoke too quickly for her to get a word in. When I finished, she shook her head frantically. "No, Liam, what you know isn't the truth. I only see Ethan as a junior. It's purely platonic. Can't you stop looking at our friendship with such dirty eyes?" I sneered. "Seraphina, your attempts to argue your way out of this are pathetic and ugly." Seraphina suddenly raised her right hand, holding up her index and middle fingers, and declared forcefully, "I swear, Liam, I truly want to marry you. If I break this vow, may I be struck by lightning." Knowing her for 10 years, I knew Seraphina cherished her life above all else. Could there truly be a hidden reason for her intimacy with Ethan Hayes? Or was she willing to risk her life for him? I feigned being moved. "Fine, I'll listen to your explanation." Hearing this, Seraphina lowered her hand and quickly adjusted the camera angle. When the image stabilized, I could see her fair, delicate skin, almost poreless, and the crystalline tears glistening at the corners of her eyes even more. Clearly, noticing my gaze, she blinked innocently, her long, curled lashes fluttering like two butterflies trying to fly into my heart. But Seraphina had already lost her allure for me. I felt no pity for her. I watched her silently. She wasn't discouraged, speaking softly. "Liam, dear, I lost a game and had to choose a dare. The dare was to bring Ethan home. We didn't do anything. You once said that marrying me was the happiest thing in your life. You meticulously planned the wedding because you wanted to give me a grand celebration to make me happy. By bringing Ethan home, I avoided the penalty of drinking, which made me very happy. Isn't that what you wanted? Why are you blaming me instead? You, on the other hand, Shalsa, carefreely/unconcernedly, canceled all the wedding reservations. I had to go through the trouble of replanning everything, and I even bought back the wedding dress you personally designed and handmade for me. Liam, dear, Do I have to tear out my heart for you to believe me? She sounded genuinely aggrieved. But she didn't know that I not only had evidence of her cheating, but also proof that she had hired someone to steal my car parts. Her sweet, soft, deeply seductive whispers to Ethan Hayes echoed in my ears. The image of her passionate, yielding demeanor in his arms flashed before my eyes. I once again deeply doubted the sincerity of her current subservience. And having a child with Ethan Hayes, was that also a game penalty? She retorted agitatedly. I'm not pregnant. Ethan and I always use protection. I laughed, a mirthless sound. Seraphina, you and your junior have done everything you should and shouldn't have done. You claim you truly want to marry me, yet you've never once proactively held my hand, never initiated a kiss, and certainly never shown me any spontaneous, aimless affection. Her attempt to brainwash me had failed. She became somewhat flustered and exasperated, abandoning her pitiful act and reverting to shouting, Liam Cole, can't you allow me to stray just once? Don't worry, after we get married, I will be completely devoted to you. If you don't believe me, you can lock me up. I asked, after marriage, are you truly willing to stay at home? You won't care about your company or your friends. Really, Liam, no matter what, I will always put you first. Through the screen, I stared straight at her. Fine, I believe you. Is there anything else? I need to sleep. Fearing I would hang up, she spoke rapidly. Can you buy a plane ticket and come back tonight? Why? Under my scrutiny, Seraphina's eyes flickered. She opened and closed her mouth several times. After a long pause, she finally said, my mother really does blame me for not cherishing you. Liam, even if you blame me, you shouldn't take it out on my mother. Come back and see her, try to talk to her. I'm afraid she might genuinely do something drastic. Fine. Seraphina looked incredulous. You're really willing to come back? I gave a cool ahem. She seemed convinced that once I returned, I would become her subservient slave again. With a beaming smile, she bid me farewell and hastily ended the video call. But I agreed, not because my past infatuation had clouded my judgment. I didn't believe Seraphina's mother would actually commit suicide. Even if she did contemplate it, I would watch coldly from the sidelines. I had to go back to witness Seraphina's anxious desperation, her pain and despair, with my own eyes. At 2 in the afternoon, I returned to the country. I had booked my flight a day later than she expected, but Seraphina, far from being angry, was waiting for me at the arrival gate, holding a bouquet made of white rabbit, creamy candies. The tightly packed candies easily evoked memories. If my life were destined to be frozen in a single moment, even after discovering her malice, I would choose the instant she first gave me that candy. Because the Seraphina of that moment had genuinely, purely, tried to make me happy. Sensing my softened expression, she shook the bouquet joyfully. Liam, dear, do you like it? It's very popular recently. I picked it out especially for you. So, it wasn't because she knew my weakness. She was just following a trend. Previously, every time she gave me a gift, she would say she picked it out especially for me. The information the private investigator had recently provided clearly showed everything she gave me, from watches and cufflinks to underwear and socks, was what Ethan Hayes had rejected. How hateful that I had been ignorant, cherishing those cast-offs as treasures. This bouquet, she had definitely given one to Ethan Hayes before. To be moved again would be foolish. I walked around her, not taking the flowers. That's thoughtful of you. She still smiled sweetly. Liam, dear, don't you just love the braised pork from that private kitchen on Peace Road? I made a reservation in advance. Let's go quickly. Actually, I didn't like it. I had frequented it for a while, but only to learn cooking from the chef, hoping to cook for her every day. But that didn't matter anymore. Then let's go, I said coolly. Seraphina, who had always treated me as her chauffeur, proactively opened the car door for me, her eyes crinkling into crescents. Liam, dear, you must be tired after a flight of over 10 hours. I'll drive. You can take a nap in the passenger seat. In the early days of her business, she constantly played the victim to force me to work relentlessly. I often squeezed time out of my racing schedule to negotiate deals. For her, after races, far from letting me rest, she would use tears to make me accompany different business partners for drinks for several consecutive days. Once I drank until I had a stomach hemorrhage and had to be hospitalized. She rushed to the hospital, crying and apologizing. It was still me who comforted her. That night, while she was with me, she received a call from a partner berating her. My heart ached for her, so I pulled out my and went to handle the social engagement for her. In the 10 years I'd known her, she had never genuinely cared for me, only used me countless times. Her current attentiveness and thoughtfulness definitely indicated a much larger scheme. Liam, dear, she waved her hand in front of my face. Why are you spacing out? I mumbled an excuse, just tired from the flight. Then getting quickly, she didn't press further, ushering me into the passenger seat. As she leaned over to fasten my seatbelt, her chin rested on my right shoulder, her soft hair brushing against my arm. The ends of her hair tickled my wrist, a faint, pleasant fragrance filling my nostrils. Before, I would have been unable to resist. But I already knew this was a trick she used successfully to seduce Ethan Hayes. Because of it, they had crossed the line in the car I bought. My face impassive, I closed my eyes. She muttered something. I didn't hear clearly, but it didn't matter. At the private kitchen, Seraphina solicitously led me to a private room, first ordering the braised pork, then handing me the menu. I only added a dish of stir-fried baby cabbage. Liam, dear, are you done ordering? She asked. I nodded. She called the waiter and placed the order. As soon as the waiter left, she went to the private room's restroom and changed into a modified cheapao. It was demure and graceful, yet strategically revealing with cutouts. I only felt disgust, because, in the photos the private investigator had given me, this cheapao made the most appearances. In front of me, she maintained a semblance of modesty. In front of Ethan Hayes, she wore the cheapao solely to strike seductive poses, to take it off. It was a miracle the cheapao was still intact. Seraphina didn't notice my revulsion. Or perhaps she was so confident she could win me over this time that she didn't care. When she leaned over to pour me tea, she practically pressed herself against me. My face remained impassive. Suddenly, the waiter knocked, asking to enter and serve the dishes. Her knees buckled, and she sank into my lap, looking up at me with pitiful, tear-filled eyes. Liam, dear, your jacket, can I borrow it to cover myself? I stood up, snatched the tablecloth, and draped it over her. Make do with this. Then I responded to the waiting waiter. Come in. You. Seraphina was furious. When the waiter entered, she probably restrained herself for a crying to maintain face, not lashing out at me. Once the waiter left, she composed herself and shot me another seductive glance. I sat diagonally opposite her, focusing on my meal. She tried to save face. Liam, dear, you truly are a gentleman. I said I'd give you my best on our wedding night, and you absolutely wouldn't cross the line before we register our marriage. When I was about 70% full, I put down my chopsticks. Seraphina, what exactly do you want from me? Go see Mr. Chun, help me negotiate the deal, and speak up more for Ethan. Her foxtail was finally showing. Actually, I still felt a pang of sadness, because a tiny part of me had hoped she had genuinely changed. And more so because the girl I had adored in my youth had ultimately become so detestable. I laughed, a bitter, angry sound. Do you think this series of cheap theatrics is worth me willingly putting on a green hat again? Liam Cole, if you had no feelings for me, would you have come back? Seraphina said confidently. Liam, you still love me. I don't love you anymore. Seraphina, my biggest regret is having blindly loved you for 10 whole years. I was about to get up and leave when a wave of dizziness washed over me. I propped myself up with one hand on the table, struggling to stay conscious, my voice laced with disbelief. You drugged me. Before I could finish, I blacked out completely. When I woke up, Seraphina was standing by the bed, wearing a bathrobe. Liam Cole, you've ruined my innocence. You have to take responsibility for me. I sneered. Are you sure you've got the right person? Your innocence wasn't even given to Ethan Hayes. Can you even remember who it was? She was furious. I took pictures. You have to be responsible for me. You have to help Ethan establish himself. Otherwise, I'll expose you. You, the world champion who just made headlines. Once you have a scandal, you'll be cyberbullied to death. Be my guest. I started to get dressed. She lunged to stop me. Her malicious scheming had exhausted my patience. I grabbed her hands, threw her into the bathroom, and locked the door from the outside. Liam Cole, you just wait. You refuse to take responsibility? You'll regret it. I will definitely ruin your reputation. Accompanied by her curses, I finished dressing and left with my suitcase. On the way home, I instructed my bodyguards to go to the apartment I had rented for Seraphina and clear out my belongings, throw away what needed to be thrown, retrieve what needed to be kept. I moved back into my villa in the city center. After a quick tidy up, I soaked in the bath while instructing the PR team my Father had specially hired to be prepared to handle any scandal involving me. I then blocked Seraphina on all social media platforms. 2 months passed. Without my help, Seraphina's life became a mess. Neither Ethan Hayes nor her previous partners possessed my capabilities. A week ago, to keep her company afloat, she had to sell her villa. Even pushed to this extent, she hadn't exposed any photos of me. Could it be that she never actually took any? Or was she simply too preoccupied to bother me? The PR team would monitor my public image. I wouldn't deliberately pay attention to her, but when stressed, I'd glance at her misfortunes for a laugh. If she was doing too well, I'd make sure she suffered a little. This evening, my father suddenly came to my house and ordered me. Tomorrow, you will meet Chloe Ashton. The Cole and Ashton families have been friends for generations. You should have married Chloe long ago. You insisted on wasting 10 years on that woman, only to come back disgraced. Useless. You're right, I said flatly. I don't deserve Chloe. I call you useless, and you just accept it? He jabbed a finger at me, his face red with anger. Chloe has always liked you. Before, when you insisted on marrying that other woman, Chloe was heartbroken. That's why she went abroad to study, and even settled there. A month ago, when she confirmed you had truly decided to break up with that woman, she came back. Chloe was afraid to disturb you, so she didn't contact you. But Mr. Ashton and I are anxious. You must meet Chloe. I was stunned. Chloe Ashton and I were practically childhood sweethearts. My last memory of her was on her 18th birthday, when she'd run into my room and performed ballet for me. At the time, I was writing a love letter to Seraphina and hadn't paid much attention. Later, she went abroad. I revolved around Seraphina, and apart from New Year's greetings, I hadn't contacted Chloe. I came back to my senses. Then I deserve her even less. Are you stupid? You and Chloe must get married. A strategic alliance, do you understand? Chloe likes you now. If you truly care for her, then like her back and give her a happy married life. When I returned home to take over the family business, I wasn't opposed to a strategic marriage. But thinking of Chloe, thinking of the girl who had mustered the courage to confess her feelings to me, only to be ignored, I felt a pang of guilt. I still went on the blind date with Chloe Ashton, because of my father. Liam, it's been a long time. I replied politely. Chloe, long time no see. She cleared her throat. Liam, I like you. I've been abroad for several years, met handsome men from all over the world, but I still think you're the best. Did you know? When I was 13, my mother told me that I would marry you when I grew up, and if I liked you, I would have a good life. After that, I often observed you secretly. I didn't know if I liked you or not until you went to high school in the countryside. I missed you terribly. I was originally going to transfer there too, but then I saw you looking at Seraphina Vance with the same expression I used to look at you. I was incredibly sad, so I backed down. On my 18th birthday, I had a little to drink and finally dared to confess to you, but you were writing her a love letter. I suddenly felt it was all pointless. Don't feel burdened. I'm telling you this because I won't be sad because of Seraphina Vance anymore. Liam, marry me. You can learn to like me, slowly. Her directness caught me off guard. I opened my mouth, but didn't know what to say. Finally, I said, okay. After giving up on Seraphina, I would no longer reject responsibility or fate. Chloe and I were destined for a strategic alliance. So, I would try my best to love her. If I couldn't, I would support her in finding true love and just be a husband to her in name only. Ms. Ashton, Liam Cole is an irresponsible womanizer who has toyed with countless women. Seraphina's shrill voice suddenly shattered the quiet ambience of the cafe. Chloe's expression remained unchanged. She instructed her personal bodyguard, Ashton 1, throw her out. Ashton 1, impassive, replied, yes, ma'am. Seraphina was dragged out of the cafe, screaming hysterically, Ms. Ashton, don't be fooled by his pretty face. I'm pregnant with his child, but he refuses to take responsibility. Ms. Ashton, I don't want you to be the next victim. Thrown out by Ashton 1, Seraphina couldn't get back in. She continued to rave outside the glass wall, like a buffoon. I withdrew my gaze and asked Chloe, Chloe, is there nothing you want to ask me? She replied, no. When you are officially exposed to the media, there will undoubtedly be more women like Seraphina Vance looking for me. I will handle it. This is a required course for me. I said, Seraphina is different. This time, she might really be pregnant with my child. A flicker of sadness crossed Chloe's cool eyes, but she quickly regained her calm composure. Liam, do you still have feelings for her? I shook my head. She said, I will handle it. When she is 4 months pregnant, I will take her for an amniocentesis, and you can do a paternity test with the fetus. We need a definitive answer as to whether the child is yours, to prevent her from slandering the Cole family once she learns your true identity. If the child is yours, and you and Uncle Cole want the child, then raise it. If not, I have ways. I asked what ways. She hesitated slightly, then said, after she gives birth, I will make her believe she delivered a stillborn, then send the child to an orphanage, ensuring the child grows up healthy. I sighed softly. Chloe, you've grown up. She said, for over 10 years, I have been preparing to be a qualified Mrs. Cole. I also expressed my sincerity. I was set up by Seraphina. That's how I supposedly had relations with her. I believe there's a 99.9% chance. The fetus is not mine. But as you said, I need a paternity report. Chloe, once Seraphina's matter is settled, let's get married, okay? Chloe blushed. Okay. That evening, while I was researching a competitor, I suddenly received a WeChat message from Seraphina. Liam Cole, you are the only son of the richest man, Julian Cole? I read it, but didn't reply. She continued her tirade. Liam, why did you hide this from me? You pretended to be poor while helping me start my business, playing me for a fool. Did you find it amusing? Now that you're tired of me, you're just throwing me away to marry the Ashton family heiress. In your dreams. I'm pregnant with your child. You have to take responsibility for me. I replied, whether the child is mine or not, you know in your heart. Seraphina replied almost instantly. Of course, I know. Liam Cole, you'd better immediately bring Ethan Hayes to the table and get my company back to normal operations. Otherwise, the scandal of the richest man's son abandoning his pregnant lover will be tonight's top trending topic. I typed out, be my guest, then deleted it. If she wanted to carry the burden of an illegitimate child for life, letting her go bankrupt was too lenient. So, I replied, I can help you. As long as you're sure you can bear the consequences. Seraphina was extremely arrogant. What can I bear? You deceived me for 10 years. You owe me compensation, no matter what. Fine. If you don't expose those photos, I'll do as you wished. I briefly explained my plan to Chloe, then used my resources again to help Ethan Hayes and Seraphina's company. Chloe also leveraged the Ashton family's connections. For a time, Ethan Hayes became a rising star in the business world, and Seraphina also seemed to have climbed the social ladder. They both made a fortune and even appeared on the cover of a financial magazine together. In the blink of an eye, Seraphina was 4 months pregnant. Chloe, according to plan, forcibly took Seraphina to the hospital for an amniocentesis. Seraphina was visibly panicked. Ms. Ashton, I'm not doing an amniocentesis. It could harm the fetus. That's the richest man's eldest grandchild. Are you trying to kill him? Seeing me look over, Seraphina gazed up at me with tear-filled, red eyes, looking pitiful. Liam, dear, save me. Ms. Ashton wants to kill our child. I said coldly. I asked Chloe to do this. You. Seraphina suddenly understood. All this time, you've been pretending to help me, just to stall me, waiting to get the paternity test, so that if I release our private photos, the Cole and Ashton families can suppress the public opinion, right? Chloe remarked coolly. Not entirely stupid, then. Seraphina threw her head back and laughed maniacally. Chloe Ashton, how can you be so sure I'm not carrying Liam Cole's child? Just you wait. I will give birth to the richest man's eldest grandchild. Even if you are Liam's legal wife, I will always be more important than you. Chloe remained calm. I'll wait. The paternity test results came back. The fetus Seraphina was carrying had no biological connection to me. I no longer held back. I had merely intended for Ethan Hayes to stumble into a few pitfalls, but he was arrogant and unskilled, aiming for instant riches and getting involved in illegal industries. I had to report him. With conclusive evidence, Ethan Hayes became a convicted fraudster and was imprisoned. Until Ethan Hayes was in a prison uniform, Seraphina never exposed any photos related to me. I suddenly realized she had no leverage over me. That day, she still saw me as an ordinary person with some abilities, thinking she could control me with a fake pregnancy. She despised me and likely never actually slept with me. I breathed a sigh of relief. At least, physically, I hadn't wronged Chloe. My wedding with Chloe was organized by both our parents. It was exceptionally grand, and they even invited media reporters. Before the wedding began, Seraphina, looking haggard, and with a dazed expression, wearing the wedding dress I had made for her, ran crazily towards me. Liam, this is the wedding dress you made for me. Do I look beautiful in it? Once, I had fantasized countless times about how beautiful she would look in it. Now, I only found her ugly. Ugly from the inside out. She was completely oblivious, tears streaming down her face pitifully. Liam, I was wrong. I finally understand that I love you. Marry me, okay? Liam, from beginning to end, I've only ever loved you. With them, it was all just an act. Bodyguards rushed over, grabbed her, and started to drag her away. Seraphina screamed and struggled. I approached her, looking down at her threateningly. Seraphina, do you want to go to jail too? She cowered. Her appearance caused a temporary commotion, but the reporters present had all been well compensated. Chloe and I had both ensured they were taken care of, so no one reported on Seraphina's sudden intrusion. I resented Seraphina for ruining my wedding with Chloe and had people keep an eye on her. I wouldn't allow her to make a comeback, constantly ensuring. She struggled. After she gave birth to her child, she had to find work to support it. Because of me, the only job she could get was sweeping streets. This was the profession she had despised most in her earlier life. So, I made her live by it for the rest of her life. Later, unable to bear the hardship, Seraphina abandoned her child at an orphanage and went abroad to become someone's kept woman. Her fate was likely grim. I stopped paying attention to her. Because with Chloe's support, my racing skills improved dramatically, transforming from occasional victories to consistent championships. She also gave me a beautiful baby daughter. I needed to focus all my attention on my family and my career.